Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to the Beav Brodie podcast. Today, in this episode, I've got my good friend Booth with me. In this episode, he and I talk about like the difference between different goals and that it's okay to not go full in on being an entrepreneur and kind of having your day job and having a side hustle. Your side hustle can be very successful even though you're not all in on it. The difference between scaling things and not scaling things and things of that nature. So that is what you can expect through this episode. It's not a terribly long one as we're in a little bit of a hurry. So
wives are yelling at us.
You got it. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Are we live?
There you go.
What's up, dude?
What's going on, man?
How are you?
I'm good.
Why don't you give these guys a quick 2-minute who you are, what you do, tell them about your business and all the things.
So my name's Booth. I own Armordillo Concealment, Inc. It is a holster manufacturing company. We've been in business since, I don't know, years.
Yeah, when did you start that?
I have no clue.
Come on.
Honestly, I don't know. Well, it started as a joke.
Well, it started very early. I'm going to guess it was 2010?
10 or 11, I think somewhere around then. I don't really remember because...
And you and I probably met in about 2012.
Something like that, yeah. It wasn't supposed to be a business, and it started as a joke, so I never really hardline.
So hold on. It wasn't supposed to be a business.
No.
It got started on accident.
Well, yeah.
Did it get started out of necessity?
No.
It just kind of happened.
It started as, I had a business. So I had my own pool cleaning company, and that's what I did.
You were the pool boy?
I was the pool boy.
Oh,
yes.
And you guys don't know Booth, but
so no.
You're going to know Booth by the end of this.
But no, not that kind of pool boy. I don't want my wife to shoot me with one of my own handguns. So I had a pool company, and it was successful. It was what I wanted in a business and what I needed. It needed to pay for itself and pay for my truck, and I was happy. But so I'm sitting at the fire station with a bunch of firemen. And
while also being a fireman.
Yes, I am a fireman. That's my professional career. But we were sitting around, and we had guns, and we wanted a holster. And we went looking on the internet, and the prices were pretty high, and the lead time was like 14 weeks. And I'm like, that's ridiculous. And I had worked with plastics before in a different fashion, and I was like, man, I can make that. And one of the guys goes, well, shut up and do it, And I was like, all right, because you can't back down from a challenge.
Especially as a fireman.
No.
Come on.
So I ordered some stuff, and I made the first holster. It was pretty. I still have it. It's haggard. Absolutely haggard. It's hammered poop, but it works.
I love it. You still have it. I was trying to find recently, I just asked my wife, like her original diaper bag, like the one I didn't want to carry. I want to put it in the office. So
got to.
Anyway, sorry.
So I still have it, and then I started, I made that holster, and I made, another couple guys' holsters, and it was just more of a hobby. I was like, hey, man, just pay for the material, and I'll make it. And so finally, this was going on for a little while. That's why I don't really know when this started, because I guess you could go by the date that I incorporated, but It was going on way before then. And so finally one day, fireman walks in that was a buddy, and he's like, hey, man, you should make this a business. We're like, what? No, I've already got a business. This is literally this buys my ammo, for me to shoot. And he's like, no, dude, this is gonna be a business. I already got a name for it and everything.
Oh my God.
And we're all sitting at the dinner table. We're like, you're an idiot. No, this is not. No, you can't do this. I can't. And I'm like, I can't do this. I'm not gonna run this business. I got one already. He's like, no, bro. He's like, and I got the name. It's Armordillo Concealment. ARMOR. Armor. And he's like, you could have a jacked up armadillo as your logo too. I already made it. It's got an AC on the chest. And I'm like, we're all now hysterically laughing, like, you're an idiot. Shut up. Just sit there. And you just sit there. And we pretty much ridiculed him into submission, and he didn't say anything. And probably a week or two or something goes by, and my phone rings, and I answer it, and I'm like, hello. And they're like, hey, man, is this Armordillo Concealment? I need a holster. And that's how it happened.
It just all started. It
stuck.
You got forced into a business.
I was done.
You didn't want to do.
And then eventually it started, growing and, taking over my pool business. I was like,
screw the pool stuff.
So I did. Yeah, I sold the pool business and sold it to a friend, and this was it.
I don't think I knew about as long as I've known you since probably 2012-ish, 2013 maybe. I don't think I ever knew about the pool business. Maybe you mentioned it to me.
Nah, man, firemen always have some sort of side hustle.
Every one of them that I know does something.
Because the fire department doesn't pay. So,
right. Well, that's not true, though. That's not true.
Not in the beginning.
There's a long-term play
yes,
there.
Yes.
So, and that's what we're going to talk about. I want to really hammer
Yeah.
on that in this podcast. So, so that's your business. That's your side hustle. That's how you got into it. You know, you make Kydex holsters.
Yeah.
And it's not your full-time gig. It's a side hustle. It's been a side hustle since the beginning. You're a full-time fireman.
It will stay a side hustle.
And it will stay a side hustle because you have different goals. And I think it's important. That's what I want to kind of share with everybody here is that, like, everybody has different goals. And, like, you know, the thought of being an entrepreneur, and I just talked about this recently somewhere. I don't remember where. I think it was on the Tactical Way Bigger podcast. But somebody recently I heard was like, oh, I want to be an entrepreneur so bad. And my argument was like, you can't want to be an entrepreneur. You are or you aren't. You know what I mean? It's like
if you're willing to put in the serious work that it takes, then
right.
If you've got to question that, can I do this? No.
Right.
This isn't for you.
It's like you either suffocate working for someone else and you just can't deal with it or whatever. But you're kind of playing both sides of it. So
yes.
Do you feel like you're really an entrepreneur, or do you feel like you are just a side hustler, the hobby that keeps you busy to help get your goals?
No, I'm based in goals and logic. So I can be an entrepreneur if I wanted to. I have the drive and determination to do it. However, I also have security. So I kind of stay with both. I dip my toe in each pond,
right.
You know, kind of deal. So it all depends on your goals and what your goals are. Now, if I wanted to go head into it, I could, and I'd probably be pretty successful at it. However,
I mean, you've had a lot of success already. Let's not get that twisted. Like, as a side hustle, you have a very successful business.
Yes.
And you do very well.
Yes.
And the brand is unbelievably recognized all over the country for the quality of work that you put out
all over the world. Yeah,
right?
We ship all over the world.
Primarily in the U.S.
Yes.
Like, everybody in the firearms industry knows Armordillo Concealment. Yep. They know you, Booth, personally. Like, you go to SHOT Show and everybody's like harassing you because you know everybody, because you have the gift of gab.
I'm a character.
You are a hell of a character, which has worked out very well for you. And we'll dip into that a little bit too, because you in the firearms industry, you can't do the typical Facebook marketing as well. Like, it's hit or miss. You can get away with some stuff, but you can't get away with others, and then they just flag your account and you're shut down, you're screwed. So
it's not like it used to be.
You've had to resort to other types of marketing and networking and mouth, like word of mouth.
Word of mouth.
Thank you
for word of mouth.
Word of mouth and some of that kind of stuff. But going back to, like, being an entrepreneur, and you have different goals. Booth has a family. He's got 5 kids and a wife. Five kids and a wife.
Yeah.
And he's supporting. His wife stays home, and that was part of his goals. Like, this is what I want out of life. This is how I want it to go. I want security for my family. He grew up with literally nothing. So he's got a different set of goals. And, like, just because you're an entrepreneur, or you think it's cool to be an entrepreneur, or to be an entrepreneur, you have to do millions and millions of dollars and do all these things. Like, you can do whatever you want to do.
It depends on what you've got to sit down and determine what your goals are in the short term, the medium, and then the long range. So you have to determine those out and then take the steps to hit those goals. Now, my goals are different than your goals, and there's nothing wrong with that. I'm me and you're you. And my goals were to secure my wife staying home to raise our children till they go to school. And then it was to secure being in the school area that we wanted to be. And I've achieved those goals. So to me, now everything's gravy from here on out, because I'm not interested in growing into this point, because to me, to be honest, my children are my legacy, not my business.
Right.
So, and there's nothing wrong with your business being your legacy, because that's important.
It's not what you want to do.
It's not what I want to do. Like, I want to work and then give my kids the best opportunity and then be with my kids. So I was focused on that. And there was a point in time that I was like, no, man, I'm going to do this. I'm going to go full out into this, and I'm going to, kill it. And then I realized, when I'd come home and I'd been working so many hours, that my kids were like, Dad, I miss you. And that killed me. I was like, all right, that's it. I'm done. So I scaled it way back. I did what I had to do to secure the goals, and then that was it. And I kind of
rode the bare minimum.
Yeah. And you'll see it. You'll see, like, my social media feeds, like, it'll peak and valley to where, like, when I want to do stuff, I'll start posting and I'll start doing the things that I got to do.
Power of social media,
and
dude.
Then,
all you got to do is post some pictures and business kicks up.
Yes.
Yes.
And then I would shut it down. Like, summers. Like, I want to have the summers off. I want to be with my kids. So we take trips, we do stuff, but I've secured enough cash flow to do the things that I want to do and be with my kids. And then we go do that, and then we're done. And then when it's back to school, it's back to work.
Right.
Which the summer is a slow season for us anyways.
It is,
generally.
the whole industry's.
So to me, it was kind of made logical sense. Like, all right, we're going to shut down. You know, I still, whatever comes in organically.
There's a few, yeah. It's not
whatever
like you shut down, but it's like you're not really promoting and trying to build business up.
No, and the fortunate thing is because I do have a professional career is I can do that. I'm not based upon my real salary to pay my bills is on the business. If I was, then I'd have to hustle all the time. Right.
So talk about your professional career and the whole reason that you maintain that.
So I've been a firefighter for 16 years now, and I have benefits packages that are more important. Like I have a retirement that will be there secured when I retire. I have medical insurance for myself and my family members. You know, so those things to me were important to have that secured and locked down to where I don't have to worry about it. Now that I know that I have this retirement, I can now side hustle to get these goals that I've got and put money away for retirement as well in a different thing and be diversified.
Right. Well, because the thing too with entrepreneurship, like you're not guaranteed to make all that money and be able to fund your own retirements and do all these things. Like it could take you a very long time. Like, and then if you become successful enough and you have the extra money, then you can start funding retirements. But you've been able to kind of play both sides of having that job security with the fire department, having 401ks and things like that to retire.
And those are important.
But also kind of scratching that itch of entrepreneurship by having a side hustle and just keeping it a side hustle without the major risk. And there's nothing wrong with that.
No. As long as that's your goal.
Right.
If that's what you want, what's wrong with that? What's wrong with having this security that I know I'm going to make X a year? I'm going to do this. But you know what? That leaves me 20 hours a week that I can do this. And you know what? In that 20 hours, I can make this. All right.
Yeah.
I'll make it.
For sure.
And I'll be honest, the grind got to me for a while. I mean, I'd been grinding, and I'd had a business prior that I was doing it. And the grind of this business, you know, especially when you're the only person managing, you know, marketing, you know, email marketing, content creation, manufacturing the actual product, liaison with, you know, customer support and answering your phone, because that was one thing that everybody loved.
Yeah, that's the other thing we didn't talk about. Like, this is a one-man show.
Yes.
That you got going on.
So I'm a one-man show. I'm no longer in a garage, but forever I was in a garage. I did grow at one point into a shop and hated every minute. For that 1 year, I never wanted to do anything. Like I literally loathed working because I had employees, I had a shop, and that wasn't me. I wasn't doing
the overhead was higher, and it's like you're taking
I
on all this
profited
stuff.
way less.
Right.
And I made, that year I made probably the most that I'd ever made in the business.
Revenue.
But
my
profit was
down.
Like way down because of all the overhead and the employees and everything. And I was like, this is dumb.
Yeah.
And so I scaled everything back, brought it back to the garage. And my best year was the next 2-3 years in a row for profit margin in that, because I scaled down to what I do best. I honed in on those things, and that's what I did.
Right. Well, and it's interesting you say that because, you know, in my head lately, I've been really thinking about like the amount of the different types of infrastructure you need to scale a business to certain levels. Like,
and they're different for every business.
And they are, but it's like, you know, you could be a one-man show and do $500,000.
Oh, yeah.
You could pull that off.
Oh, yeah.
You're going to work your face into the ground, but you can do it. And now to get to $1 million, you're going to need a little bit different infrastructure. You're going to need someone else to help you, or whether it's fulfillment or accounting, or like you're going to need some help to get to $1 million. And then to get from $1 million to $3 or $4 million, it's a different infrastructure. Like you need more things in place. And for different businesses, if like you manufacture your product in-house, that means you have more people making a product. For me, that meant more customer service. For someone else, that might mean, you know, whatever the case is.
But I also knew that I didn't want that.
Right. But my point to this audience that's listening is like, in order to hit some of those big numbers, that like if you're the guy that's like wants to be an entrepreneur and make $10 million a year, like you can get there. It's not that difficult. You just have to have the things in place to do it. And you have to grow yourself into it. So it's like, that's my point, is like you have to continue to grow the infrastructure to help generate the revenue of whatever your goal is, and understand that those different amounts of infrastructure costs more money.
Yes.
You know, we're at a point where like we have to deal with enterprise level softwares and things like that, to where it's like money. It's not you're not on $79 Shopify anymore.
No.
You're on like, we pay thousands and thousands of dollars a month for Shopify Plus, and we pay tens of thousands of dollars a month for other random softwares to connect certain things and, you know, shipping and this and like
email marketing. And it's based upon your list.
Our overhead is outrageous, but it's what's been required for us to grow, to be where we're at, to have the infrastructure to where everything's still going to work, things aren't going to break, blah, 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 blah. So
inventory management. See, I don't have that issue.
Oh my gosh. That's
I don't have, because I manufacture. Now that holds me back. Me manufacturing the product holds me back from scaling, but I don't have inventory management issues. I get an order, I make an order.
Right.
So that's the beauty of it, but that's also, it kind of fits what I need, but I can't scale in that aspect because unless I start hiring people to manufacture or I go OEM
outsource or whatever.
Yeah, I outsource, which then
like
you have
we
to worry
do.
about
So
quality.
we outsource manufacturing to factories where they're dealing with that. We have, you know, shipping and fulfillment that we deal with, you know, employees and things like that there. And then, but like in-house here in our office here, like I keep hiring people to make more content for all the different platforms.
And you have to have that.
You know what I mean?
To me, it's almost, what sucks about it is it's a part of the business model that there's not a tangible number that you can attach to it that it brought you this.
It's so hard.
It's not like you can tell, hey man, it cost me X dollars to do all of this, but I can't like tie it to this that it brought me all of this.
Right.
And it's so hard.
You can't, but when you look at revenue in general and you're like, all right, we hired more people to be on more platforms, to be seen by more people, and revenue is up and our profit margins are remaining the same, we're doing a good job.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So
but try telling that to a bookkeeper. Or a numbers guy. That's not.
Well, here's what's really cool. You know, like I've got Alex.
Everybody needs
Alex. Everyone needs an Alex, and he is like he's my numbers nerd.
Yeah.
And I, you know, he's awesome.
But he understands it.
But he understands it, and that's what's super important. Like as a operations numbers guy that he is, he's very much, and he's always like trying to get the most out of a buck, and I appreciate that. I'm like trying to spend every penny we have, and he's like, "What are you doing?"
Yes.
But I also understand his side of it, so we have enough of the crossover of what I've got going on, what he's got going on. We both understand what's happening in each other's world, to where there's some leniency of like. And here I am like, what do you mean we got to pay $60,000 for software? That's ridiculous. He's like, yeah, but it's got to connect to this, so that does this, and I'm like,
and then it makes
all right, whatever.
Then we don't have to associate man hours to do that stuff. That we can allocate them to do this instead.
Right. And I'm like, you know, I'm pushing him right now and on a campaign for something I want to do that I think is going to be huge. And I'm like, yeah, it's probably going to cost us like $10,000 to make this video. And he's like, oh. No. And I'm like, yeah. Then so we're gonna have to like duke it out,
and
we'll come to an agreement on something, and I think we have already. But like, that's just the struggle. You know?
So you know the inner workings of my business, and that's one of the things. Like, cash flow is an issue. Like
cash flow is king, dude.
And see, I've always been one that I don't run on credit or debt at all. Like I've always I've never run my business on any of those things. So to me, it was always like if I had X dollars in the bank, then that's what I had to work with, and that was it. I was never willing to risk.
Which is not a bad thing.
It's not. But
until you need to scale.
Yes, until you need to scale. I was never willing to bet on putting stuff on credit to do that. And
you're like a low-risk entrepreneur, but I like it.
Well, because my goals are set that way.
I understand.
So if my goals were opposite to grow, no, you got to kind of bet the house. Like you've got to go in, and we talked about this. You went all in, and it paid dividends.
I want to keep going. I want to talk about the story of like the progression of what you've seen, because you've been there since the beginning.
Yes.
But keep going.
So you went all in, and I remember telling you like, dude, that's kind of crazy. Like, are you sure you want to do that? Like we had this conversation. Like, I mean, and I didn't want you to fail, but to me it was the numbers game of it from my side, just understanding numbers. And then this was before you had Alex, I believe.
Yeah.
So, and I was like, dude, like that's kind of like I couldn't do that myself just because that's not how I was set up, and I knew that I wasn't going to leave it. But you were completely content with like, I'm going all in. This is going to be my gig, and I'm doing it. So it made sense. But I was still like, bro, you're crazy. You're crazy.
A lot of people said that.
Yeah, and I mean,
you know what's funny is a lot of people said that, and a lot of people a lot of my close friends were like, Beav's always on his phone. Like when you come over, you got to put your phone at the front door. You can't. And I'm like, no, dude. I got things to do. I got goals and ambitions. Like I'm trying to tell the world about myself. You know.
You know, it's funny is like at the fire station. Like I used to have my phone on, and like when it was cranking, that thing was cha-chinging all day. They'd be like,
Shopify.
What is that? You know, like turn that thing off.
And
I'm like,
money.
I was like, that's money. I was like, I made more money sitting here in an hour and a half than I did all shit.
If you guys have Shopify and you have the Shopify app on your phone, you'll know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Cha-ching,
Cha-ching.
cha-ching.
We used to send each other videos of our kids like dancing.
Do you remember
yes.
it was like the first like big Black Friday for us like years and years ago, and in my phone like that Shopify app was like cha-ching, cha-ching.
Well,
and
you
then,
were with your family.
Yeah, and I got a video of my daughter, and I made it like a boomerang type video. Yep. And it was her just going cha-ching, and then it was like on repeat,
yes.
like cha-ching, 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 cha-ching.
Well, I think,
but that's like literally what my phone was like. It was the first time.
I think it was the following year. It was Black Friday that we had run. This is before it got really hard for us to run ads. But we had run an ad for us, and it was like from my aspect, crushed it on Black Friday. And I remember you were at your family get together, and your brothers
every
were
year
like,
I'm at my grandma's house.
Yeah, and your brothers were like, turn that crap off, because it was just because you had yours going and mine going because you were watching it too.
Oh, that's
and it was
right.
Just,
we were doing
it was
stuff
insane.
For
you. Like your phone just didn't stop. Because I know my phone wasn't
like
going.
It's for anybody that doesn't understand. Like the early days when you get those sales is the best. Like the adrenaline you get from your little cha-ching on your phone is the best.
Yeah, I still get it because I know that I'm supporting my family.
Right.
So to me, every time that cha-ching goes off, it matters. It matters to me because that's more stuff for my family that I'm going to be able to supply.
Well, it's also good for you. It's kind of like that notification of like, okay, I got stuff I got to ship out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're still that one man show, and you're wearing all those hats, and thankfully, like our stuff's very automated. We've got dozens of people, and
But you've invested in that. I didn't invest in that.
Right. But yeah, man, it's just crazy. So anyways, going back to the beginning of like what you've seen from the beginning till now, how much have you seen? Like, I think people underestimate and don't realize how much I was doing and how much I was working and how much I risked to get to here.
Well, we were doing it at the same time because I still had, I had the fire the fire department career, and that was, 24 hours on, 48 hours off, and every third day. And you were doing your car stuff, and we were talking at night, late, after we
midnight, 2 a.m.
We'd work all day and then do our businesses, and then we'd be literally in bed. And I remember our wives getting pissed at one point in time because they're like, "Who are you talking to?"
I'm
like,
having an affair with somebody? Like, no, it's like the State Farm.
The commercial. It's like, who are you talking to? It's Beav. Well, it sounds like a dude. Well, no. So we would be talking and messaging because
Beav sounds hideous. He's a dude, so
we'd be talking about different strategies because this was at the very this
is early. This is probably like 2014, 15.
I think so. I was starting to. This is at the point where I wanted to scale the business and I wanted to really grow before I sat down and said no, that these are the goals and switch gears. And I remember you being like, "No, dude, I'm going for it."
I had to do about 2015 because I went all in right around the time Alex came on.
Yeah, because I remember us talking about that, and then you went all in. You're like, I'm just putting everything I've got into it, and I was like,
I don't know. I just saw here's what's crazy, and everybody thought I was crazy. They were like, and people now that don't really know, they're like, oh, how's the car business going? I'm like, oh, I don't work on cars anymore. They're like, oh, really?
Yeah.
I'm like financially it makes 0 cents for me to touch a car for money. And they're like, really? They're like, so what are you doing? I'm like, I sell diaper bags. Huh?
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah. But they don't get it. But and everybody thought I was crazy. My parents thought I was crazy, but I don't know. I just have enough faith in myself, and I was betting on myself. I'm not gonna let I've been burned before and have come back from it. Yeah. And I just knew I'd be okay. I've always got cars to fall back on. Everyone in the world knows me here for car stuff. If I had to go back to that tomorrow, I'd kill it. And so that knowing that I kind of have that security blanket of another skill set and another business model I can fall back on really allows me to just go all in and risk it a lot.
And you could, yeah. See, I had the same security, but I knew that I wasn't going to leave it to go all in.
Right.
So I knew that no matter what, I wasn't going to leave. And a lot of people have told me same thing, but stupid for not leaving it and going. And I was just like, I'm not going to leave it. Part of me still loves doing the job too. So that was another aspect of it that most people don't really quantify in it, is that I really enjoy going to work. And so that aspect kind of helped me say the logical stuff of there's a lot more security in this. I know that this is going to happen.
Yeah, but and once you retire from the fire department, how old will you be?
I'm eligible to retire at 44 because I started so young.
44, dude. You know how young that is?
Yes.
Like you could crush it after that still. Like that's amazing. It's because you started so early at the
yes,
you were 19.
I was 19.
Like, dude.
So yes.
So you get retirement and then you can just like do
But things changed. So since that was the plan when I had 2 kids. But then the wife wanted to get pregnant. You can't argue with a woman that wants to get pregnant. So now I have 5 kids. So now my career will be postponed a little bit longer than originally planned just because I'm going to have young ones at the house. So I'll work a little bit longer just because.
You need some extra money.
Well, extra money, but also get me out of the house because I have so many kids.
Oh, my goodness gracious. Well, this is going to be a short episode, guys. Is there anything else you want to talk about? Because Booth and I have to go to dinner with our families here in a few minutes.
Both of our wives have already called like probably 5 times.
What else should we educate them on, or think is a good talking point?
I would say like, don't be afraid to hold yourself back slightly. Like a lot of people want to just like get the shop or get the space, or now it depends on what the business is. Say the business is you need to be in this space to get the traffic, the foot traffic.
Yeah,
like that would make sense. But like I was in my garage killing it, like absolutely killing it.
I don't think you guys understand. Like, very successful side hustle business out of the garage.
And everybody thought it was like this huge business, and it was literally just myself and my wife.
Killed it with the branding.
Yep.
Like, you did an excellent job.
It was myself and my wife in our garage. And
now
we
you get a
developed
little side help from your daughter.
Yes. Yeah, when you have kids, they grow up and they become free helpers. But like we developed, we patented a product. We've got injection molded parts for that. We developed other injection molded parts that we sell to other holster manufacturers. So that's another side hustle within the business that
another revenue stream.
Yeah, another revenue stream that comes in that I'm getting a clip of their sales. Like I knew that this niche needed help, and I invested the money in that because I had it because I didn't spend it on other things. And now I get revenue from everybody else's. So basically all the people that use my parts, I get a little clip of their holster sales.
Yeah, so many holsters that are made are using your parts.
Yes.
So like you're getting a piece of it.
And it's funny because I see their pictures and it's like...
And they don't, but see what's funny is they don't know it's yours.
No, they don't.
Because they're buying it through a distributor.
Yep. So I sell either direct to holster, and I have distributors as well that sell to them. So to me, it's fantastic.
Right. So you got multiple revenue streams within the business.
And that mold is paid for itself multiple times over.
But what you just said was super important because you didn't spend your money on dumb shit. You had the money to invest into something else.
And that's where I was, like I said, I don't go into debt. I had the money amassed to where I'm like, okay, now I've got a little bit extra. I need to spend it for tax. The CPA basically said, hey, you got to spend some money.
You need to spend some money.
Or you're going to be sending it to the government. So I was like, all right, I'm going to do this. And I invested in a tool, an injection molding tool that basically made these parts. And then that has generated... I can't even.
How much? Yeah.
That's generated so much money just from, and I don't even sell those direct. If I sold them direct, it'd be more, but it was just easier to let somebody else do the distribution, which was a scalable thing. I couldn't handle the everyday orders of that stuff. So I just sold them thousands upon thousands, and I took my percentage and, paid it off.
It's so rad. It's super cool.
I wish
what's really funny is like somebody like me that's like far beyond that. I kind of wish I had something like that. You know what I mean?
It's like mailbox money.
It's like, oh my God, I forgot. That's the term that we used to use.
Yes, it's like
mailbox money.
I just want mailbox.
It just shows up, but you don't have to do anything for it. That's super important. Like
they call and they're like, hey, I need blah, blah, blah. Okay.
It's like you press a couple buttons. It's something scalable like that. It's almost like passive income.
And I don't even see it.
Mailbox money. Dude, I haven't heard you say that in years.
It is. It's so what good. It is. So like they'll call, they need X amount. I call the injection molder, hey, make this much, send it to here. Here's the UPS account. Done. Send them a check, and then mailbox money.
You talk about goals, and I was talking about this with Tyler Merritt from 9line, and he was like, you got to know where the like, when is enough enough? You know what I mean? And I'm like, dude, I don't even have that idea of what is enough is enough. Like, I don't have a goal, which is why, like, it to a fault where, like, I'm just working I just like to work. Purebred workaholic.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
And I'm the same way.
I don't really know, like, where the end game is or like what I'm trying to achieve aside from like recently figuring out that like I want to leave an impact and a legacy for like future generations, whether that be just like who I was, like great grandpa Beav did X, Y, or Z, or is it like that I made billions of dollars in my family? Like, but see, I think that's such a negative for like future generations. Like, just be rich. Like,
Yeah.
I want
see,
to
I
leave
make my
money for
kids-
them. I want money for them for like things or something, but like I want them to have the work ethic.
Oh,
so I don't
that's
want
the hard part.
You know what I mean? So it's like, do I have to structure it in a way that
They have to.
they don't get it till they're 35
or they have to achieve this to get
to
this,
get that
like,
or like,
unlocks.
yeah,
that-
dude.
So
Or
you
gamify it.
Yes.
Like, hey,
so
if you do this, you get
this.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you want
I
to go
like
to
that.
college? Once you get your bachelor's degree, you get this. Oh, you want to buy a house? You do this.
Right.
Like and our biggest thing too is like our children are steeped into like our traditions and our roots like that. I make my children do things that the hard way because they'll never struggle. Like my kids will never know hunger.
Not the way you did.
Knock on wood. They'll never understand that. And they'll never grow up the way I did. However, there's certain traditions that I need to instill in them because they need to have that work ethic. And I make them come out. And to be honest with you, like I'm sure there's people out here that are parents and they're doing this because they want a better life for their kids. Get your kids involved. You know, my daughter and my oldest daughter and my oldest son, they run Shopify. The program's easy enough that they're running the back end of it. They're, printing labels, they're completing orders, they're doing this, and they're helping out, and it's because they want to spend time with me, and I have to get this work done. So they come out of the shop. They bring their, their drinks. They come out, they ride their bikes out. They work for a little bit, they help out, and then in between I let them watch, certain things on YouTube, and they'll do that stuff, or they'll work on things, they'll build stuff in the shop because I got other tools as well. And that's their time with dad.
Right.
And I'm accomplishing two things. I'm getting the work done that I need to get done, but I'm also teaching them work ethic.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to do that all during the day when they were at school, but I started doing some of it with them, like on the weekends. Like I'd go out there and work for like 2-3 hours and then make them come. And they do that stuff. And I let them do other things in between to keep them interested, but they're in it now. Like now my daughter can literally, she logs into Shopify. She sees what orders. Hey dad,
Shipping labels.
What's the numbers?
Mm-hmm.
Print shipping labels, prints them out, and then we're good to go.
It's awesome, dude. Super rad.
Yep. And they also tied it to like, hey, that trip that we went on, that's because we did all of these orders. Hey, this that we bought, that's all of these orders. This, that iPad, that's this much. That's all. I count those things.
You can quantify it for them.
They can see it.
Right.
And
my kids don't get that because our fulfillment. We have different shipping locations. We ship out of Durham, North Carolina. We ship out of Salt Lake City, Utah. So, we have so much going on outside of the office that my kids see that we run into people in public that have our bags, or they see pictures on the internet, or they see videos on YouTube of like other people reviewing, and they're like, "Oh, Dad, look, Tattoo Baby." You're like, "That's crazy cool," And I have to I'm like, "Yeah, those are the bags that we make and sell, and that's Tattoo." And like, it's hard for me to like kind of quantify that to them, like. That's how we make money and pay for things.
That's how we eat. That's how we do
but
this.
like for them, it's just me coming to the office and making a video
But it doesn't have to just be here within the business. Like we live on a large piece of property and we've got to maintain it, so I make my kids go out there, and even though we have the ability to put everything and do it the easy way, we make them, when we cut down the tree branches and stuff like that, they drag them, and I drag them right with them, even though I can literally put it on a trailer and
for sure
make this so much easier.
I don't disagree. And I do a lot of that same kind of stuff with my kids, but I think it's just cool because you do it and I used to ship all the stuff. I shipped that crap out of my living room for a long time. I started what these people don't maybe know or don't know. I started Tactical Baby Gear in my house.
Yep.
Like Brandon and I used to sit on the couch after the kids went to bed.
Yep.
And ship stuff sitting on the couch in the living room for 2 years.
Well, that's what we did. Like with the belt loops and stuff like that we sell. Like they would just come in boxes, unsorted. Because I didn't know that I could pay for them to be sorted.
Right.
So they'd ship thousands of thousands. And dude, my mom would come over.
Dude.
My mom would come over and my wife, and we'd be sitting there and just on our kitchen table or the coffee table, sorting these loops and having boxes and just pushing them. And I think back and I'm like, but that was, we embraced that because that was what was going to get us to the goal.
Right.
And, it started from nothing.
Yeah.
It started.
If we were still shipping stuff out of here today and my kids could see that and they could see oh, this many boxes are going out. And that's how, like you said, 60 holsters is what it takes to pay for that iPad or whatever the case is, right? That's and it kind of clicks.
Yeah.
for my kids, they just see me making videos and playing on the computer all day, and they don't understand. You know what I mean? So,
Which is not a horrible
it's
thing
not.
because what
They'll-
if they learn? And I've asked my
they
kids
do.
that.
They love making videos, and they love like the stuff that I do. They're super into it, and everybody on Instagram sees my kids all the time, and they're like, "Yeah, subscribe to YouTube." You know?
See, I can't do that because there's some weird people out there. Like we've gotten so many threats, like because we're into guns and we do have family, like kids and stuff like that. So I don't post pictures really of my kids and stuff like that on the business account because we've received like so many times, like people like, oh, what happens if one of your kids was killed or something?
We get that
like
crap too, but
And-
screw
and
them.
I get that, but it's to me, it's one of those things that like it got pretty like it got
I know.
bad.
You get
There's some people that they
people are ridiculous.
yeah
too.
they are,
And you got to be cautious. I don't mean to like downplay it because there are some ridiculous things that happen, but I just don't let the haters get
One
to me.
was like
dude.
16, and I called his mother. I tracked him down. Called his mom. I said, hey, just to let you know your son's doing this. How'd you find me? I said, if I can find you, there's people out there, if he did this too, that you wouldn't find him.
Yeah.
Because this is what he's talking about, like my kids.
Online,
and
yeah.
sending me pictures of my own daughter. Like, that's where I kind of drew the line.
I would have hunted that kid down.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I didn't, but I know there's people out there, like, if you did that, they would use the skills the government gave them to make that person disappear.
Jeez.
Yeah.
All right, well, we got to wrap this up because now my wife is texting me because my father-in-law's car broke down, so I've got to go rescue him. Any last words? Let them know where they can find you.
Armordilloconcealment.com is the website. Instagram is going to be at Armordillo Concealment. Facebook's Armordillo Concealment. Armordillo.
Armordillo.
Yeah, Armordillo.
I will leave links in the description to the video to where you can find Booth in all the places. You will enjoy the content when he makes his posts.
Yes.
Guys, thanks for listening. I really appreciate it. Please leave a review and a rating wherever you're watching and listening to this. And we'll see you in the next episode. Thanks.